Hi, and welcome to this demonstration video for Tradebox One. If you can't see what I've got on the screen clearly, check the settings in the YouTube player and make sure you're viewing the video in 1080p. In this video we'll be looking at the orders list, applying searches, sorts and filters within Tradebox One, and some general navigation tips for working in the program. In the orders screen I can see a grid which displays all of the orders that my Tradebox has handled, and this is across all of my channels by default. Now you may notice that although the total here says 8 orders, which my sales channel has handled, we've got 7 open, but only 6 actually visible at the moment. This is because by default Tradebox will display the last 30 days worth of orders. The orders list can become a little bit slow to populate if you're a heavy user, so by default we limit down to the last 30 days. This is controlled in the configuration screen. In Preferences, this setting here, as well as setting my default views, I can set how many days worth of orders or all orders do I want to populate. Bear in mind that will impact on the speed of the software if I've got a big database and I want it to show all orders all the time. Even within here with the date filter set to 30 days as is the default, I can see all of my orders, and I can do this by clicking on the total under the total header. There's the 8 orders here now. If I've applied a filter, I can always accomplish the same thing by clicking on Clear Filter, which again should always show me all orders. The green label at the top of the orders, the products, and the customer screen shows how many records are visible within the specific view I've got at the moment. So if I apply a search or a filter, you can see that respond and let me know how many I've got. At the top of the order screen, we've got the controls for working within this screen. I can use the Edit button to open a detailed view of the highlighted order. I can also do the same thing by double-clicking on any order within the list. The Delete button will delete the selected order or orders. Now within the grid that we've got here, I can use some standard Windows shortcuts to highlight multiple. Control and click will highlight more than one. Shift and click will highlight an entire range. And I can also use Control and A on my keyboard to select all. And that holds true of any of the grids you see within Tradebox. They all respond to the standard Windows shortcuts. I can use the status button at the top here to change the status of an order, so long as it's not already complete or refunded. I can't change a completed order back to, for instance, being unpaid or on hold. Export will give me a couple of options. I can choose to send the orders to file, to create a CSV file of the records directly from the database, and that doesn't include any filters or sorts that I've got active in the screen. Or I can send the contents of the screen to Excel, which does immediately create a spreadsheet with the grid exactly as I've got it on the screen. So for instance, I had a filter set to only show me this one order. If I send the screen to Excel, that's all I'll get. And again, that holds true anywhere in the screen where you see those export buttons. In the print menu, I can use the documents that we've included in the program. So I can print an order list, stock picking and order packing lists, invoices directly from within Tradebox, and address labels. And if you search our knowledge base on our website, you can find more detail on all of the printables, as well as exporting and working with the data in and out of Tradebox. The reset button at the top of the orders list refers to the accounts posted flag that's been set against every order. Essentially, Tradebox remembers per order whether it's gone through to an accounts package already to avoid duplicating any orders on subsequent posting runs. If I wanted to send the same orders through to my accounts package for a second time, I can highlight from the grid and use this reset option here. There's also an option in the maintenance menu to reset ranges of orders based on criteria that you'll choose. Where you've got a lot of data in the program, it helps to be able to filter and sort that data to make it more manageable. At the top of the order screen, we have the filter bar. Now these filters all stack on each other, so I can, for instance, tell the program that I only want to view open orders through a specific channel, in a specific currency, and for a specific date range. You'll notice that nothing's actually changed about my view yet until I click on Apply Filter. To discard that filter, or to get back to my entire order list at any time, I can either click on the total button or use the clear filter button at the top of this screen. At the moment my orders are sorted by date ascending, and you can see that by the fact that I've got the arrow pointing up next to the date column header. If I wanted to sort the other way, I can just click on the column header and it will sort inverse. And if I want to sort by another column, say the channel number, which is the order number from the online marketplace, I can again do so just by clicking on the column header. If I hover over column headers, I also get the filter or funnel icon here, and this lets me know that it's a filterable column. If I click on that icon, I can see a list of all the values that are within the database. Now, if I had a lot of orders in here, I would have a lot of specific unique numbers to sort from. So I can also use the custom option to pull up a standard equals, greater than, less than sort of filter here. Within the grids in the program, you may wish to rearrange the order in which the columns appear. And you can do this by clicking and dragging on any column header to move it around the screen, like so. Many of the grids also have additional columns that we don't surface by default to try and keep the screens tidy. To view the additional columns, right-click your mouse on any column header and go to Column Chooser. From the list of available columns, I can simply drag and drop to add them into my grid. So for instance here, I can add the downloaded column to show me the date an order was downloaded alongside the date where the order was originally placed on the marketplace. And once a column's in the grid, it becomes sortable and filterable, just like any other column. To remove a column, you can right-click your mouse on it and choose Remove this column. You can also do this for the default columns if they don't apply to you. Also within the right-click menu, we have the Filter Editor, and this is used for applying advanced filters to the grid in question. In the order screen, we do actually always have a date filter running in the background, and this just basically means only show us orders if there is a valid date tied to the order. If I want to expand on that and maybe filter in a more complex way, like for instance the filter bar at the top of the screen here will let me see orders from one sales channel but not multiple at a time, I can do this using the filter editor. If I click the plus, I can add a matching condition here. If, for instance, I only want to see orders with the sales source of eBay. That's now done that for me. I can also go one layer deeper though. If I click in the top left here, I can see the available conditions. Now, add condition is what I just did there, to add an extra condition on top of the filter that's already in place. If I click back in and go to add group though, it takes me one layer deeper. So if I wanted to use, say, an OR condition rather than the AND condition, I can do so like so. Now if I'm choosing multiple sales sources, like only show me orders with the sales source of eBay, or show me orders with the sales source of Amazon UK, I can do so like this. The reason I'm using sales source and not channel for this is that all my orders came through one sales channel. You might see this if, for instance, we were using an integration with a system like Linworks, which also handles multiple connections, but we're only taking a single Tradebox feed in there. If I was doing direct connections to Amazon and eBay, and I wanted the same filter, I would do so by setting this to channel rather than sales source. It just so happens that in the data I've got here, I'm using sales sources rather than channels to differentiate. So if I click on apply here, and then OK, you can see the orders list is now showing me, of the orders I've got, only the ones that are through my eBay sales source or my Amazon UK sales source. If this was a filter that I was wanting to use regularly, as in it's common for me to want to see orders from both my eBay and my Amazon UK channel, it's probably a good idea for me to save this filter. And I can do this using the Save Filter button at the top of this screen. I can give my filter a name and then hit save. And then even if I discard the filter by clear filter, by total, by using clear filter off the right click menu, I can always get it back at any point. And here's a different filter that I created earlier. Even though you haven't seen me build this filter just now, if we want to use it or amend it, I can right click and again go into the filter editor and see or amend the parameters that I've used.